Good morning. My name is Irene Guerinot. I am a woman. I am a physicist. I'm an environmental engineer. I'm an immigrant originally from Greece. I am an educator. And today, I couldn't be more proud and bursting with pride. Look at this gorgeous event, amazing event put up by our students. I'm a mother to 3 amazing kids, 3 amazing people, George, Chris, and Elizabeth, who are loving, remarkable, caring, brilliant, awe-inspiring individuals. They support, adore, and lift each other up. They are my rock, they are my soul, they are my light, they are my heart, they are my cheerleading squad. I am a wife to my husband, Steve, who always brings positivity into our lives, who always supports me in anything I want to do, and who is going to come and find me at the 23rd mile of a Covenant Marathon one year. And when I tell him, you know something, crossing the finish line is actually overrated, he runs with me in his Carhartt jacket, jeans, and steel-toe shoes. I'm a daughter of 2 brilliant people who filled the first 18 years of my life and beyond with love, integrity, laughter, adventures, humor, books, music, decency. A mother who inspired in me love of education, need for education, and love for books. A father who believed in me fiercely, who encouraged me to speak my mind and think for myself. A father who I witnessed all my life, loving my mother, my brother, myself, and all his grandkids, and really everybody around him, to pieces. A father who was my first best friend and who I miss greatly for the last 16 years. And I'm also a survivor of domestic abuse. Women's aid organizations define domestic abuse. These are the organizations that provide life-saving services to women and children all over the world. They define domestic abuse as a coercive, controlling, demeaning, violent, abusive behavior or pattern of behaviors by a partner or an ex-partner. The domestic abuse that I encountered manifested itself as physical, psychological, and financial. Of course, like every other relationship, the relationship that ends in abuse starts by falling in love and being in love. Never usually a relationship starts by being abusive. But when abuse takes hold of it, then it's very, very difficult to get rid of. Here I am, away from home, Greece, in a foreign country, United States, with no support system, no friends yet, no family, and the first slap happens, followed by tears from him, yelling from me, excuses, remorse, apologies from him. 20 years old, and I had never experienced violence personally, violence in my life, cruelty or sadism. I have absolutely no idea how to deal with that. And the mind can play such horrible tricks. Start thinking, is it my fault? What can I do better? How can I solve this problem? There is absolutely no way that I can fail. 17 years of being punched, pushed, pinched, kicked, shoved, burned with cigarettes, belittled, degraded, threatened. 17 years of walking on eggshells. 17 years of being in a war zone. 17 years of unbearable trauma. And like any psychologist will tell us, trauma has ripple effects. It starts with the person that experienced the traumatic effect, the abused, the casualty, the sufferer. And it expands to the people close proximity to the abused and close proximity to the event, the kids, and keeps on spreading. Parents, siblings, friends, co-workers, law enforcement personnel, the legal system. I did go to the police 3 times. I was treated with indifference, ridicule, and compassion in one case by one individual. I did go to the Greek Orthodox priest. I was treated with compassion and kindness. But the priest was much more concerned with saving the soul of my abuser than he was helping my kids and I heal. How did I remain sane, sober, and alive? Alive not only because he could have killed me, at any point those 17 years, but alive from self-inflicting wounds. My kids, my parents, my books, and my studies, having a professional goal and working towards that for so many years was helpful. My books, transporting me into a different world, beautiful, intelligent, kind, was helpful, but the real lifesaver appeared in the faces of my parents and my kids. My parents were already suffering enough from what was happening. I couldn't do that to them. My kids, what would happen to them if something were to happen to me? There were soccer games to attend. There were soccer practices to attend. There were concerts to attend. There were birthday parties to plan. There was food to be prepared. They needed support. They needed guidance. They needed discipline. They needed love. They needed someone to hug them. And in all those years, most of those years, there were two special people in my life. They did not know exactly what was happening behind closed doors, but they were smart enough, kind enough, caring enough to read the signs and feel the pain. Maria and Mary, you're my M square. 23 years to the date almost, I broke the chains, I stopped working in a fog, and I left my abuser. November and December are very hard months for my kids and I. And the ripples continue, inward and outward, affecting every individual involved and leaving lasting scars and lasting impacts. Fear of driving over the Smoky Mountains because someone for years threatened to drive us over the cliff and end it all. Losing my hair twice in the last 15 years. Taking a shower and seeing the cigarette burns and having to dig deep into my heart and into my soul to be able to find the strength to go on for another day. Out of the blue, a photo will appear, a smell will happen, a thought will cross my mind, something I will see in the news, and memories that I have buried deep inside are coming rushing out, memories nobody should have to live with. Chaos theory, and that's when you thought there is not going to be any physics today. Chaos theory discusses the butterfly effect, which rests on the notion that our world is completely interconnected, that something that happens over here, that is a very simple incident, is going to have horrible or good or big repercussions in another very complex system. Math and physics have proven that actually we can maybe time travel, but really we cannot change what we have done. The future is not going to change. So math and physics do not actually work with my narrative today. I'm going to go to Hollywood and put a Hollywood spin to that and say, okay, if I were able to go back in time when I was 19 years old and change who I fell in love with at the time and who my kid's father would be, would I change that? If that meant that I would never meet my kids, that I would never be hugged by them, that I would never be loved by them, and I will never share space with them, I will not change a thing. I will leave earlier, but I will not change a thing. And going now, something else is my story, unfortunately, is not a unique story. There are thousands and thousands of women in the exact same predicament. So Plato now comes into the picture. Plato, who told us that every group of humans is a microcosmos of the larger cosmos. So in that microcosmos, that could be Maryville College, that could be this auditorium, this could be city of Maryville, any unit that we can think about. Being a microcosmos of the bigger cosmos, that means to me that there are three groups in that world, in any of those worlds. Each one of us belongs to at least two of these groups, at least one of these groups, maybe two, maybe three. But today we might identify more closely with one of these groups. So to these groups, first group being the abused, I say this. I see you, I see your scars, I see your tears, I see your pain, I see your loneliness, I see your vulnerability. I see your beauty, I see your strength. You deserve better I believe you, I support you, I'm here for you in whatever capacity you need me to be. I'm here for you today, tomorrow, the day after, whenever you are ready. To the abuser, group number 2, I say, take responsibility for your actions, because the responsibility lies with you and you alone. It is your shame. Solving a problem requires acknowledging there is one. There is no amount of prayers, no amount of wishful thinking, no amount of excuses, no amount of remorse and tears that is going to change you. Leave the relationship, go to therapy, take the medication. First step in solving a problem is accepting there is one. Stop blaming other people, stop looking for excuses, and stop saying, look what you made me do. Take responsibility for your own actions, because the responsibility will always lie with you. To the third group, the bystander, I say this: never feel sorry, never pity the abused, never appear as a savior. They had enough codependency to last them a few lifetimes. Instead, help them find their strength, help them find their power. Listen to them without judgment. Validate their feelings, despair, hope, guilt, fear, love. And most importantly, under no circumstances ever say to a battered woman that is there to share her story, I do not want to hear this. Do not minimize the pain. Do not minimize the scars. Do not give her power back to her abuser. And in your role as a parent, sibling, law enforcement personnel, friend, co-worker, hold the abuser accountable. As the holidays are approaching, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, to name a few, maybe, just maybe, we can be without one more pair of shoes, one more plant, one more little toy, one more game. Maybe that money is going to be spent better by giving some donation to Haven House, one of the local organizations that are actually providing shelter, outreach services, and court advocacy to victims and survivors of domestic violence. Domestic violence is a silent crime. Domestic violence is a gender crime. Domestic violence appears and happens all over the world, regardless of background, age, education, or wealth. To my family near and far, and even further, Daddy. To my friends, personal, colleague friends, and student friends, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here today, in person or in spirit, or in the digital world. I couldn't do that without you. To the awesome TEDx team, you are amazing. I'm so very proud of you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your support.